Welcome to NewsNation. Jeffrey Epstein is still dominating social media. Outrage and anguish about the release or lack thereof. And this time, it is more than justified. The fiasco of the files is proof of what's wrong with our politics. For all we still don't know and likely won't ever know, a couple of basic truths have been laid plain. You really cannot trust people in politics the way you should. And it is way past time for our lawmakers to focus on more than this. I'm sorry to say, but a lot of you got played by Bongino and Patel and the other MAGA pod bros who told you they knew it was murder. The client list. They all cashed in on your legitimate concerns. And I told you it was going to be this way. Why? Several reasons. And they're really not uniquely known to me, which tells you something about the media and who has played it like these are open questions, okay? Ghislaine Maxwell would talk if she knew of other big names to pin this on. She hasn't. And it's not because she made a deal for a better sell. It's because she has nothing that would stick. Because the lawyers involved have told me there will be no shockers. The only things that would be really intriguing have been sealed by judges that the administration and both parties aren't even actively litigating to open up. But no, I don't think it's the uniparty. I do believe Obama's team, Biden's team would have happily exposed Trump or others. They pay for the dossier, but ignore what's right in front of them? Doesn't make sense. And if the new Epstein exploiters on the left really wanted to help survivors, they would have when they were in power. And I do not buy that they refuse to interfere with the DOJ process. Not for a minute, and neither should you. Look, you had the disruptor duo, right? Cash and the podfather, Bongino, and Pam Bondi, all in key roles, and they brought you nothing. They spent more time concealing than revealing. Working for a president who campaigned on this and has zero problem blaming others to distract from himself, and still nothing. And yes, all the redacting seems like the Trump administration is trying to protect people, the wrong people. And they have not given a good explanation for why. And there's something else that is painfully obvious. Money and power do not make you better. How did all these bold-faced names think it was okay to party and pal around with this dirtbag? And look, I'm not talking about drugs or cheating or a lot of baby oil, okay? I get that there is a false, in my opinion, false moral standard at play in America very often when we analyze people in the public space. I have a way lower bar for our leaders. I do not care about people's sex lives. But this is so much more than that. This is people who could hang with anyone, choosing to hang with a guy who preys on teenagers, and I don't know how they didn't know. They had to know, at a minimum, that he cut a deal to get out of an underage prostitution claim. Famous influencer joking about how he had to hide Epstein's appetites. Women reminding this pig to make sure his choice of date wasn't too young to draw suspicion. You know, at first, I thought it was cheap to subpoena the Clintons, but I'm actually interested to hear why they didn't think Epstein was a pedo. Same with the others. Look, I don't know how it's part of the oversight power of Congress, but I'm interested to hear what they say, and not just the Clintons. The worst part is that whether it's a cover-up or people were just conniving a mythology to sell to MAGA, you now have people who won't let it go, because they really believe that it is a two-tiered system. And even what has come out is so disgusting that you can't believe there's not more there, and that there's just a choice being made to put some people above the law. And whether it's people going back on what they swore was true, or pages of black where there was supposed to be truth. It just seems like it's rigged. And yet, at the same time, it seems irresponsible to me that there's so much time and effort and media energy spent on this conspiracy. There are real, known problems that affect the majority of this country. And let's be honest, I don't believe Epstein matters to the people in power the way it matters to you. They are doing this because it captivates you and it's a distraction from all of the other things that they clearly don't want to deal with. In the height of irony, this point was actually properly made by the president.
On the Epstein files, you talked about Democrats who were in there. Elon Musk was also in there, and so was your Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and correspondence that he had with him. Did you read those new files that were published by the Department of Justice?
I didn't. I have a lot of things I'm doing, and a lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else.
What would you say to people who feel like they haven't gotten justice, Mr. President?
Something that people care about.
Wrong messenger, right message. Okay? I don't know that I've seen more stink on any bold-faced name than what came out about the president. The pictures, the presence, no crimes, not that I see, but familiarity with the guy that he rightly condemns now. Look, I don't think it's an accident that somebody put out all those allegations against Trump in that link that was then all of a sudden taken down. Okay? I think there are two schools of thought going on somewhere in that administration. But look, I just don't know where it can go from here that justifies the attention. Representative Massey has said that he knows, the FBI knows, of like 10 or 20 names of big shots. And he mentioned one, Jess Staley. I hope that gets flushed out at the upcoming hearings, or that Mr. Massey takes it upon himself to put those names out. And if he doesn't want to, please call me and put me in touch with whomever has told you that. And forget about NewsNation. I get the risk of litigation. Forget about SiriusXM, where I'm doing the morning show. I'll do it on the Chris Cuomo podcast. I'll assess the reporting. I've been doing this a long time. I'll assess its reliability. I'll look at the indicia. I'll talk to the survivors. And I'll put them out. And whatever comes with it comes. I'll make that judgment. Because I think the survivors deserve it if it means that much to them, and they can convince me that they should have known. He was there. She should have, But if you're going to say it, don't just dangle it, Mr. Massey, and not do anything, because then you're really getting beaten up by Trump for nothing, okay? And I think it matters because the survivors do matter, and you should have some degree of confidence that there is some accountability in this society, all right? Now, short of that, our leaders should be focused on health care. The president's right, and it should start with him, right? He said he was going to call in the health care bigs and tell them we're going to do this with you or without you. Remember? Remember how I said, good for him? And all the left jumped on me. You can't believe him. You can't believe him. And now I look like a fool because he's like never done anything about it. Address the cost structure that is killing people, literally and financially. You can't even get the subsidies extended, and the overwhelming majority of the country is demanding it. You shut the government down for it. And you shut the government down again, and it didn't even affect the agencies, ICE and CBP, that you said were the target. When are they going to do their damn jobs? Do you want to actually help some people who've been victimized? Good. Start here. Cynthia Freeman, New York. Her husband's sick. 75% their premiums have jumped. Cynthia has to pick up part-time gigs bartending just to get him his treatment. Devin Watson's mother in Tennessee, her premium spiked 850%. A retired veteran, fixed income, nearly impossible to afford and balance with groceries and utilities. Reagan Grossman of Tennessee, pre-existing health condition. She and her husband are now considering changing jobs or having to move just so that they can protect their health. 312% increase. The Trump folk told you they were going to take down the big shots behind Epstein. They lied, okay? the president does not have to repeat that mistake or that perfidy with his promise to call out the big names behind the healthcare costs and to take this on. You are right, Mr. President. You are right. They should take it on. Lead the way. And as for the minimum that needs to be done, it is supposedly, and look, he's welcome to come on. I give you an open invitation. I'll give you the whole hour to discuss it. Senator Schumer, I'm told, is the one who's holding it up, the deal on the subsidies. He needs to explain himself. I know you only want to talk to people who won't challenge you. I've known you a long time. I'll give you the hour to make the case on health care. Just bring anybody you want. So if they want to be tough, if they want to reveal, if they want to expose, then do what matters to the majority, and do it now. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.